Hey Luigi, how are you today?
Very well, Dave. Thank you very much.
Hey, listen, for the benefit of the audience, can you just give us a little bit about your experience?
Sure. So, the founder of Before AI, I've been in IT for the last, more time than I can remember. It's more than 30 years. I'm very passionate about IT. Started on a keyboard when I was 4 years old and then got lucky to come to France and work for Dell, where we met. So many different roles. And then about 4 years ago, got excited by a technology that I met at a university with my co-founder, built this very exciting company now.
Great. So listen, you and I have worked together for a good bit in the IT infrastructure area. We've got experience in sales and services. But tell me about the pivot to cybersecurity, because that's something that's hard to make, right? You need a lot of experience in the cybersecurity before you can get into it. So just tell me about that journey.
Yeah, well, first of all, I would say that this is a subject that many people get hung on, that I think it's a bit overblown as well. You know, there are so many different facets to cybersecurity. You don't need to be necessarily an ex-John McAfee that decide to start a company, right? So first of all, I come from an IT infrastructure, so I have a lot of knowledge on networking, on the way computer works and PCs and internet technology and so on. So I have the basics, right? And then interesting me more to kind of start to understand these more cybersecurity aspects is the fact that as I was working with customers, they would regularly complain that cybersecurity is a very reactive space. And to me, that was kind of an eye-opener, right? When I was trained at the early days in Dell, they trained me on avoiding future problems to reduce the cost in managing systems. And to me, this concept of, okay, you are reactive to problems and all the time you don't know what's coming next, was bugging me, right? So I got interested more from how do we apply technologies like data science, like artificial intelligence to solve for the reactive nature of cybersecurity, more than from, I don't know how to decode a malware or things like that, right?
So let's talk a little bit about the internet. And one of the main components or the backbone of the internet is the domain and domain names that various websites sit on. So one of our colleagues from our team, Andre, was at the NAME convention last week. Tell us a little bit more about what that is and what they're doing at that convention.
Sure. So Andre is our product manager in Austin. A few weeks ago, I got, some Austin newsletter by the time we were going to Round Rock and having some good barbecue there. And in one of those newsletters, I saw that there was this event, Namecon. And I asked if Andre wanted to go there and have a look. There's a lot of exciting new stuff happening. So what is Namecon? It's the largest conference about domain names and domain names auctions and the technologies around DNS and domains. And of course, we are in domains, among other things, with Before AI. So it was interesting for us to see where the trends are going. And there are some exciting trends that we can talk about. There is evolution in domains on the Ethereum name server system. So a new approach to domain names that would replace DNS eventually. There is NFTs, and NFT are nothing else than assigning friendly names to smart contracts, so not very different than domain names on IP addresses. Unstoppable domains, a new approach to domain name registration and managing of domains. So a lot of different trends that's very exciting to learn about. And it feels like a bit like internet was 25, 30 years ago.
Go a little bit deeper into those use of domain names and blockchain and how they become attack vectors to companies. Give us a little bit more insight as to how that comes about.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. This morning I was talking with one of our most senior CISO in our customer network, and they were sharing how one of their partners had been seeing their brand used for a cryptocurrency scam, where somebody had recorded a fake cryptocurrency name on the Ethereum name server system and was trying to lure people to think that this was an actual legit use of the name of this company. And so this customer was asking, how do we avoid being impersonated or our name being used to scam people on these new domain technologies, right? And how much Before how AI is already doing that versus how much far away in the time maybe our roadmap on those topics.
Okay, let's get into our brand protection. I know that's one of our products, and it's helping a lot of customers to prevent their customers from getting scammed. Talk to me a little bit more about that brand protection.
Ethereum name server, Namecon, unstoppable domains. This is probably technologies that we're starting to see their use and the risk that come with it. But let's not forget indeed that the majority of the scams and impersonation happen on Internet 2.0, we could say, right? So on the normal World Wide Web and DNS. And indeed, domain names are the most widely used vehicle for attacks, notably for brand scams. Brand scams come in many different flavors. The most common is, for example, in the banking sector, where a fake domain would be set up to send phishing email to steal credentials so that then the criminals can log in the account of the victims and steal the money. Another case would be when the brand get impersonated with a fake domain to then send emails very well crafted to impersonate a finance executive or somebody in the company and steal and ask a customer or a partner to change a wire instruction, for example. Another case of domain impersonation is when somebody create a fake web commerce trying to lure orders. We were today doing a few takedowns for some shoe factories that were losing tons of orders to these fake similar domains. Of course, not only they were losing the order, but also the poor people that were buying these supposedly shoes from this fake domain, they were losing their money because they will never receive anything, right? So that's another. So there is a vast array of attacks that use domain name for brand impersonation and scams.
I've spoken to many customers since joining Before AI, and that's a lot of them feel like they've got this protection against these squatting domains that are set up. But in reality, I start to hear feedback then that they struggle with taking down these malicious domains. I mean, I think we've got a really good managed service there. Do you want to give us a little bit more insight as to what that managed service can do?
So first, I would say that there is a spectrum of sensibility and maturity in this space. Most have a false sense of comfort that they're protected by typo squatting of their domain. But this typo squatting is those domain names that change by one letter or maybe a dash in the name or a different extension and so forth. The problem is that they are looking at their domain not being misused, but they forget about the people that get tricked into one of those scams, right? So maybe they're protecting themselves, but not necessarily their customers or their stakeholders. So there's a first kind of a gamut of sensibility around how wide and how broad is this protection. Then the second thing is, okay, what are you going to do next time? And there is a typo squat earlier or later. Are you going to do something about it, right? And most try the takedown route through legal means. This may be very lengthy, generally weeks to months, and not necessarily compatible with the risks on internet. What we do different is we call it active defense. Why? Because we go after the criminal by trying to cut a maximum of the traffic to those malicious domains. So even if the domain still exists, because there is a process undergoing to take it down, well, people cannot reach it. And ultimately what you care is that there are no victim tricked into a scam, right? Still, we do a number of those takedowns very, very quickly thanks to our partners like Namecheap and others. In the registrar community, I think the record today is 7 minutes with the vast majority of the takedown in less than 24 hours. So we can be quite timely, and thanks to our prediction being very early, also complete the cycle before the attack starts, hence the name of the company, thanks to Luciano and Benji.
Wow, that's impressive. 7 minutes, been able to take down a malicious domain before any customer gets to it. That is something. Hey, thanks for your time today. You've taken us through the futures of domains, how those domains can be used in a vector of attack, and it's great to hear about our brand protection service and our ability to manage takedowns. So thanks
for the chat, and look forward to the next one.